Two sisters, worlds apart. I'm Rachel, 23, a biochemist clawing through exhaustion and diner shifts, crafting a game-changing invention in secret. Lily, 21, struts back from a $50,000 globe-trotting spree, dripping in privilege, ready to steal my lab for her Instagram empire. But when my breakthrough lands me a six-figure gig, the FOD shatters, exposing their favoritism and my quiet fury. This isn't just a story, it's my fight to rise from the ashes of their neglect. My name is Rachel, and I've always known the sound of silence better than most. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that presses down on you, heavy with things unsaid. It's the silence of a house where one daughter is a golden child, and the other is just there. For 23 years, I've lived in that quiet, carving out a life between textbooks, late-night shifts, and a makeshift lab in the guest house out back. Meanwhile, my sister Lily, 21, radiant and freshly tanned from a $50,000 world tour, basks in a spotlight I've never even tried to reach for. It's not that I hate her. I don't. Lily's the kind of person who walks into a room and makes it brighter, whether you like it or not. She's got this laugh that's loud and unapologetic, and a smile that's landed her 500,000 followers on Instagram. She's an influencer, whatever that means these days. Someone who gets paid to sip cocktails in Santorini and pose with designer bags our parents bought her. I've seen the photos, Lily on a yacht in Dubai, Lily at a rooftop bar in Tokyo, Lily draped in silk in Paris, 50 grand, all expenses paid by mom and dad, who called it an investment in her future. Meanwhile, I'm juggling a biochemistry degree, a part-time job at the campus library, and weekend shifts at a diner just to cover tuition. The guest house wasn't always my lab. It used to be a dusty storage space, old furniture, boxes of Christmas lights, a cracked mirror mom couldn't bear to throw out. 2 years ago, I claimed it. Dragged in a folding table, a second-hand microscope, and every spare dollar I could scrape together for equipment. It's where I've been working on my project, a biodegradable polymer that could replace single-use plastics. Sounds lofty, right? It is, but it's real. I've got the data, the prototypes, the sleepless nights to prove it. It's my ticket out of this quiet resentment, this life where I'm the afterthought. Lily came home last week. I heard the car pull up Dad's old Lexus, the one he keeps pristine for her airport runs. I was in the guest house, hunched over a petri dish, when her voice cut through the walls. Oh my God, you guys, it was insane. The Maldives were like next level. I didn't need to look to know Mom was fussing over her, Dad beaming like she'd just cured cancer. I stayed where I was, pipetting a solution, pretending the ache in my chest was just fatigue. Dinner that night was a performance. Lily held court, her stories spilling out between bites of Mom's lasagna. So this guy in Bali, he owns like 3 hotels, said I should totally come back and collaborate with his brand. Can you believe it? Mom gasped, delighted. Dad nodded, proud. I pushed my food around my plate, counting the seconds until I could escape back to my work. Rachel, Lily said suddenly, turning those big hazel eyes on me. You should have come. It would have been so fun. I forced a smile. Yeah, maybe next time. I've got 50 grand lying around. She laughed, missing the edge in my voice. Mom didn't. She shot me a look-sharp warning. Don't ruin this, it said. I didn't. I never do. The next morning, I was back in the guest house, running tests, when Lily burst in. She was still in her silk pajamas, hair piled into a messy bun, phone in hand like an extension of her arm. Rach, oh my God, this place is a mess. What's all this junk? It's not junk, I said, keeping my voice even. It's my thap. She wrinkled her nose, stepping over a stack of journals. Yeah, well, it's kind of in the way. I was thinking, since I'm home now, I could turn this into my content studio. You know, for videos? The lighting's perfect, and I need space for my ring light and stuff. I froze, the pipette trembling in my hand. This is my space, Lily. She waved a hand, dismissive. You can move your science stuff somewhere else. The garage, maybe? I mean, I'm gonna be here a while, and I need this. Need. That word hit me like a punch. She needed a studio for her selfies. I needed this lab to survive, to finish a project that could change everything. But to her, to Mom, to Dad, her needs always came first. Lil, I can't just move this. It's not that simple. She sighed, already tapping at her phone. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to Mom. And then she was gone, leaving me staring at my equipment, my sanctuary, like it was already hers. That night, I couldn't sleep. The guest house glowed faintly through my bedroom window, a reminder of what I'd built and what I could lose. Lily's voice echoed in my head, casual and entitled, like my years of work were just clutter in her way. I thought about Mom's favoritism, Dad's blind pride, the way they'd poured money into her dreams while I scraped by. And then I thought about the email sitting in my inbox, unopened since yesterday. The subject line, offer letter, Syntec Industries. I'd applied for a biochem position there months ago, a long shot. My project was part of the portfolio, unpolished, but promising. I hadn't told anyone, not yet. But as I lay there, the weight of Lily's takeover threat pressing down, I knew it was time to stop hiding. The next morning, I opened the email. 6 figures, a job in Seattle, a future I'd built with my own hands. And suddenly, I wasn't just the quiet sister anymore. I had something to say. The email from Syntec was still open on my laptop, the words blurring as I read them again. We are thrilled to offer you the position of junior biochemist. Annual salary of $120,000. Relocation package to Seattle. It was real, tangible. A lifeline I'd woven from late nights and secondhand equipment, not handouts or hashtags. But as I sat there, the guest house humming with the faint buzz of my centrifuge outside, I felt something else rising anger. Not the quiet kind I'd swallowed for years, but something sharp and alive. Lily's words from yesterday looped in my head. I need this. She didn't need anything. She wanted it. And that was enough for Mom and Dad to rearrange the world around her. I'd spent years rearranging myself, my schedule, my dreams, my voice, to fit into their orbit. Not anymore. I printed the offer letter, folded it into my pocket, and marched into the house. The kitchen smelled like coffee and Mom's lavender candles, a fake calm that didn't match the storm in my chest. Lily was sprawled on the couch, scrolling her phone, while Mom chopped vegetables at the counter. Dad was at the table reading the paper. The perfect family scene, minus me. We need to talk, I said, louder than I meant to. 3 heads turned. Lily's curious, Mom's wary, Dad's distracted. About what? Lily asked, not looking up from her screen. The guest house, my voice steadied. You're not taking it. She laughed, short and dismissive. Rach, come on, I told you I need a studio. You can move your stuff. No. The word cut through her sentence, surprising even me. I can't move it. I won't. That's my lab. And I've been working there for 2 years on something that actually matters. Mom set her knife down, frowning. Rachel, don't be dramatic. Lily's home now, and she's got opportunities to chase. You can find another spot. Opportunities? I echoed, incredulous. You mean posting bikini pics for likes? That's what you call an opportunity? Lily sat up, eyes narrowing. Wow, okay, jealous much? Jealous? My laugh was bitter. Of what? Your $50,000 vacation? The way Mom and Dad fawn over you like you're some prodigy? I've been working my ass off, Lily. 3 jobs, no sleep, no help, and you waltz in and think you can take the one thing I've built? Girls, Dad said, folding his paper with a sigh, let's not fight. I'm not fighting, I snapped. I'm telling you how it is. That lab is mine. I've earned it. Mom crossed her arms. Earned it? Rachel, we've given you everything, a roof over your head, food on the table. Lily's out there making a name for herself. What are you doing in that shed? That shed. The words stung, reducing my work to nothing. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the folded letter, and slapped it on the table. This, I said. That's what I'm doing. Dad picked it up, unfolded it, his eyes scanning the page. Mom leaned over his shoulder, her frown deepening. Lily craned her neck, curious to spite herself. What is it? She asked. A job offer, I said, my voice trembling, with something between pride and fury. Syntec Industries, 6 figures. They want my polymer project, the one I've been killing myself over in that shed. It's a biodegradable plastic alternative. Real science, not some influencer collab. And they're moving me to Seattle. The room went quiet. Dad's mouth opened, then closed. Mom's hands dropped to her sides. Lily stared at me, her phone forgotten. 6 figures? Dad finally said, his voice soft. Rachel, why didn't you tell us? Because you never asked. The words exploded out of me, years of silence unraveling. You never cared. It's always been Lily, her trips, her followers, her dreams. I've been invisible, scraping by while you bankroll her jet setting. I didn't want your help. I did this alone. Mom flinched, like I'd slapped her. That's not fair. We've always supported you. Supported me? I cut in. You didn't even know what I was working on. You thought it was some hobby, some mess in the way of Lily's next photo shoot. I've been drowning, Mom, and you didn't notice. Lily stood, her face flushed. Okay, fine, you're a genius. Congrats. But don't act like I'm the bad guy here. I didn't ask to be the favorite. Didn't you? I shot back. You love it, Lil. The attention, the money, the way they bend over backwards for you. You don't even see what it's done to me. She glared, but there was a flicker of something guilt, maybe, in her eyes. Dad cleared his throat, holding up the letter like a white flag. Rachel, this is incredible. We had no idea. Of course you didn't, I said, softer now, the fight draining out of me. You never looked. The silence that followed was different, uncomfortable, heavy with realization. Mom's lips pressed into a thin line. Dad stared at the letter, and Lily shifted, arms crossed tight. I'd cracked something open, and there was no closing it now. I'm keeping the guest house until I leave, I said finally. It's mine, and when I'm gone, you can do whatever you want with it. I turned and walked out, my heart pounding. The guest house welcomed me back, my space, my victory. But as I sank into my chair, the centrifuge still humming, I felt the weight of what was coming. This wasn't just about a job or a lab. It was about rewriting who I was to them and to myself. The next few days were a minefield. The house felt like it was holding its breath, every conversation laced with unspoken apologies and sharp edges. Mom avoided me, her usual chatter replaced by tight-lipped nods. Dad kept finding excuses to linger near the guest house, peering through the window like he was seeing it for the first time. And Lily, she stayed glued to her phone, but the post slowed down. No Maldives throwbacks, no living my best life captions, just silence. I didn't care. I had work to do. Syntech wanted a full presentation of my polymer project before I started. Data, prototypes, the works. The guest house became my fortress again, the hum of equipment drowning out the chaos inside. But even as I ran tests and typed up reports, my mind kept drifting back to that kitchen showdown. The look on Mom's face, shock, guilt, defiance, all tangled together. Dad's quiet. We had no idea? Lily's flicker of unease. I'd shaken them, but I wasn't sure what came next. It was Thursday when Mom finally broke. I was in the kitchen, grabbing a late-night coffee, when she walked in, her robe pulled tight around her. She didn't look at me, just started wiping down the already spotless counter. Rachel, she said, her voice low, can we talk? I leaned against the fridge, arms crossed. Sure. She stopped wiping, her hands gripping the rag. I didn't mean to make you feel invisible. I didn't know how much that lab meant to you. You didn't ask, I said, keeping my tone even. You assumed it was nothing because it wasn't flashy, because it wasn't Lily. Her shoulders stiffened. That's not true. I've always wanted the best for both of you. Then why does her best get a world tour, and mine gets a lecture about gratitude? The words came out sharper than I meant, but I didn't take them back. Mom turned to face me, her eyes tired. Lily's path is different. She's out there, visible, building something. Building what? I interrupted. A brand? Followers? That's not a future, Mom. It's a performance. I'm building something real, something that could change how we live. And you didn't even care until I shoved it in your face. She flinched but didn't argue. For once, she just listened. I'm proud of you, she said finally, her voice breaking. I am, I didn't see it. I wanted to believe her, but the years of being overlooked burned too deep. You didn't want to, I said, and walked away. Friday brought Lily. I was in the guest house calibrating a new sample when she actually knocked, not barged in. She stood in the doorway, barefoot, no phone in sight. It was the most un-Lily thing I'd ever seen. Can I come in? She asked. I nodded, wary. She stepped inside, her eyes darting over the equipment, the stacks of notes, the prototype films stretched across my table. This is intense, she said. Yeah, I replied, not sure where this was going. She picked up a petri dish, turned it over, then set it down like it might bite her. I didn't know, she said quietly, about any of this. The job, the plastic thing. I thought you were just, I don't know, messing around. That's the problem, Lil. I said, leaning back in my chair. You don't think about me at all. You assume I'm just here, waiting in the background while you shine. She bit her lip, a rare crack in her confidence. I didn't mean to take it from you. The guest house, I saw it as empty space. It's not empty, I said. It's mine, and it's full of everything I fought for. She nodded, slow, like she was piecing something together. You're really leaving, huh? Seattle? Yeah, in 2 weeks. Her eyes widened. That soon? Opportunity doesn't wait, I said, echoing something Dad used to tell us when we were kids. I've waited long enough. She didn't say anything for a minute, just stood there, barefoot and small in a way I wasn't used to seeing. I'm sorry, she said finally. I didn't get it. I still don't, really, but I'm sorry. It wasn't enough not yet, but it was something. I nodded and she left, the door clicking shut behind her. Saturday was Dad's turn. He found me in the backyard, staring at the guest house like it could tell me what to feel. He held 2 mugs of coffee, handed me one. Mind if I sit? I shrugged, and he settled onto the porch steps beside me. I read your letter again, he said. Syntech. Big deal, huh? Yeah, I said, sipping the coffee. It was too sweet Lily's way, not mine. I'm proud of you, kid, he said, his voice rough. I should have said it sooner. I should have seen it. You should have, I agreed, looking at him. But you didn't. He winced but nodded. Fair, we got caught up in Lily's noise. It's not an excuse. I just want you to know we're here now. If you need anything, money, a ride to Seattle, whatever. I don't need money, I said. I've got this. But thanks. He smiled, faint but real. You've always had it, haven't you? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. That night, I packed up the last of my notes, the prototypes sealed in protective cases. The guest house felt smaller, like it was letting me go. I'd reclaimed it, and now I was leaving it behind, along with the silence I'd lived in too long. Seattle loomed ahead, bright and loud with possibility. For the first time, I wasn't the shadow, I was the light. The 2 weeks before I left flew by in a blur of packing, final tests, and awkward family dinners. The guest house was stripped bare now, my equipment boxed up, shipped ahead to Seattle, the folding table folded again. It looked like it had when I'd found it, dusty, forgotten. But I wasn't the same. I'd walked out of its shadows with something no one could take away. Mom tried harder after our kitchen talk. She started asking questions, tentative ones like, what does the polymer do? Or, will you have a lab in Seattle? I answered, short but civil. She was trying to bridge a gap I wasn't sure I wanted crossed yet. Dad was quieter, but he'd slip me little things, a new travel mug, a gas card for the drive north. Small gestures, clumsy with guilt. I took them, not because I needed them, but because they were all he knew how to give. Lily was the wild card. She didn't apologize again, but she stopped talking about her studio. One night, I caught her watching me pack through the guest house window, her face unreadable. She didn't come in. I didn't invite her. We were sisters, but we'd never been close, not really. Her world was loud and curated. Mine was steady and unseen. Maybe that was changing now, but it didn't erase the years between us. The day before I left, Mom insisted on a family dinner. One last time, she said, her voice tight with something I couldn't name. I agreed, mostly to avoid another argument. The table was set with her good dishes, lasagna steaming in the center, Lily's favorite, of course. But this time, there was a side of roasted vegetables, the kind I liked. A quiet nod, maybe. Lily was subdued, picking at her food. Dad kept glancing at me, like he was memorizing something. Mom filled the silence with chatter, weather, traffic, anything but the obvious. Finally, she set her fork down and looked at me. Rachel, she said, I know we've messed up. With you. I see that now. I just want you to know we're proud. Really proud. I stared at her, the words landing soft but heavy. Thanks, I said, because what else was there? Pride now didn't undo the years of nothing. It didn't pay my tuition or cheer me on when I was alone in that lab. But it was something, and I'd take it. Dad cleared his throat. To Rachel, he said, raising his glass. For showing us what hard work looks like. Lily hesitated, then lifted hers too. Yeah, she said, her voice small. To Rachel. I raised mine, the clink of glass echoing in the quiet. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. The next morning, I loaded my car. The old Honda I'd bought secondhand groaned under the weight of my life clothes, books, a few pieces of lab gear I couldn't part with. Mom stood on the porch, arms crossed, eyes wet. Dad lingered by the garage, hands in his pockets. Lily was there too, barefoot again, her phone nowhere in sight. "Drive safe," Mom said, her voice cracking. "Call us when you get there." "I will," I promised, though I wasn't sure I meant it. Dad stepped forward, awkward, and handed me a folded bill of $50. "For gas," he muttered. I took it, nodded. Lily shuffled closer, her eyes on the ground. "Hey, good luck with the job and stuff." "Thanks," I said, meeting her gaze. For a second, I saw something raw there. Regret, maybe? Or just the weight of losing something she hadn't valued until now. "Take care of the guest house." She smiled, faint. "Yeah, maybe I don't know, plant something in it." I laughed, surprising us both. That'd be a first. Then I got in the car, the engine sputtering to life. As I pulled out, I glanced in the rearview mirror. 3 figures shrinking against the house I'd outgrown. The road stretched ahead, open and mine. Seattle was a 20-hour drive, and I did it in one shot, fueled by coffee and adrenaline. When I arrived, the city glittered against the night sharp, alive, nothing like the quiet I'd left behind. My apartment was small, a studio with a view of the Sound, and my lab at Syntech was waiting, sleek, state-of-the-art, a world away from the guest house. I unpacked my prototypes first, laying them out like a map of where I'd been. The first day on the job, my boss, a wiry woman named Dr. Patel, shook my hand and said, "Your polymer's got potential. Let's make it real." I nodded, the weight of that moment sinking in. This was mine, not a gift, not a favor mine. Weeks later, I got a text from Lily, a photo of the guest house, empty except for a single potted plant in the corner. "It's a start," she wrote. I smiled, typed back, "Yeah, it is." I didn't know what came next for them for us. Maybe Mom and Dad would keep fumbling toward fairness. Maybe Lily would find something real beneath her filters. Maybe we'd mend what was broken, or maybe we'd just drift, tethered by blood, but not much else. I didn't need to know yet. What I did know was this. I'd built something extraordinary, not just in a lab, but in myself. I'd walked through silence and come out loud, not with noise, but with purpose. And as I stood in my new life, the Puget Sound shimmering outside my window, I realized I didn't need their light anymore. I'd found my own.